Central High and Mobile County Training School is about to be revived here in 1996 at Pritchard Municipal Stadium with the top-rated 5A Blount Leopards taking on 6A the Leflore Rattlers in the first ever Heritage Classic. This tribute to the past is the brainchild of Pritchard Mayor Jesse Norwood and the respective principals at Pritchard, Leflore, and Blount. Leflore is the home team this afternoon, and we're glad to be here. Hi, everyone. I'm Lee Cervanian, along with Rick Cleveland and the entire cast from the Comcast Cable TV, as today the Comcast Cable Port City 6 High School Football Game of the Week is brought to you by Gary Finch Outdoors, your Bell South Cellular dealer in Greater Mobile. What a festive afternoon. Temperatures in the mid-70s. On the cool side this afternoon, they are anticipating a sellout crowd of about 12,000 right now as the marching band's coming onto the warning track. The Leflore band and the Viger bands, of course, will be performing. They have really gone to great lengths to make this quite a spectacle. We're going to have the pregame ceremonies with some sky jumpers, but they had to discard that idea because of the wind. They didn't want to take a chance on the skydivers missing Pritchard Municipal Stadium. But they're going to have the Queen, and they're going to have the bands, and they're going to have all kind of pregame and halftime ceremonies to really put a lot into this game, and they hope it will become an annual event that will raise money not only for the high schools but for the city. And they're also going to award like an academic scholarship off this game. There's going to be a game MVP. This game originally was scheduled for Ladd Memorial Stadium, and it is Leflore's home game, so it's going to be kind of odd to see Blount occupying the far sideline. Rick Cleveland and I will be back to assess today's game between top-rated Blount in 5A and the Leflore Rattlers in 90 seconds. Lee Cervanian and Rick Cleveland spending a Saturday afternoon at Pritchard Municipal Stadium for the first ever Heritage Classic to recognize back in the 60s the predominantly black schools that used to play on Thanksgiving Day, as we told you, Central High and also the Mobile County Training School. Those high schools are no longer with us, but this game kind of to revive memories. Lee Portis is the referee, shaking hands with the respective co-captains, and as you can see, enough co-captains to last a whole year. Rick, both teams come into this game with momentum. Blount, of course, having chalked up the big win over Shaw last week, 34-0, and Leflore winning its first game, beating Mary G. Montgomery, a game that was extremely significant in their quest to make the playoffs this year.
Well, it was a big area game for Leflore, and it was a big win for Coach Rachel Park and the Rattlers. And this is going to be a big game. It's a big game because it's a neighborhood game. It's a big game because there's storied tradition in both of these in this community, and it brings back some feelings from old high schools, and you get some of the older people that come in and really brings them back into the element of high school football. So I'm excited about being here, and I always like to see a Ben Harris coach team play.
Well, it may be a half an hour by the time they finish introducing the co-captains to one another as they're ready to toss the coin out there. The honorary captain today is Charles Rhodes, a longtime athletic director and football coach who had a number of wins at the Mobile County Training School. Leflore is dressed in green with the orange pants, and Blount wearing their traveling white, even though they're playing closer to home.
Well, Leflore is the home team here. We also see Mayor Jesse Norwood down there, and I think we need to give him some credit. This was the brainchild of Mayor Jesse Norwood's, and it is an outstanding idea, and Mayor Norwood is to be given ample credit for this ball.
You know, and realistically, this has sparked a lot more interest in this game than had it been a regular Friday night game, one of many games played on Friday night. I mean, they've really taken this game and made it into their little mini bowl game on a Saturday afternoon. Like I said, it's very rare to play a Saturday afternoon game in Mobile.
Well, it is, and it's, I think it's kind of unique in a lot of other ways, too, because as we get ready to play the national anthem.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as the crowd rises, we'll direct you to the field, and the Leflore marching band will lead us in honoring America with the national anthem. Prior to the playing of the national anthem, the public address announcer for the pregame ceremony, Cheryl Davis, explaining some of the pregame ceremonies that are going on. The Heritage Queen from Blount High School, by the way, is Kenesha Nakia July. She is the queen, and the national anthem will be sung, we're told, by Dawn Hayes. The national anthem back, 6'2" senior, threw for 4 touchdown passes against Shaw, something that not even the great quarterbacks in Blount history like Damian Craig and Kelvin Robinson and Farley Love were unable to do. He completed 3 of those to DeAndre Green last week. Sherman Lee and Leonis Williams are the running backs. Marlon Reed and DeAndre Green, the primary targets of quarterback Aaron James. Mike Miller is the tight end for Blount. Will pick up the offensive line after the opening kickoff. Warren Eller, who figures to start at quarterback, is kicking off. This Heritage Classic is underway, and it goes right past Pugh. Kennard Pugh came up to try to get that grounder, and it skipped right past him into the end zone. Blount will have it 1st and 10 at the 20. All right, this is the Blount offensive lineup. A 3-year starter at center. Jonathan Brown wears number 53. The guards are Mike Thomas on the right side, Aaron Taylor on the left side. The tackles, a sophomore, Carlos Bonner at 290. And on the left side, Leo McCall, a sophomore, 241. Aaron James wears number 3. He is the quarterback. Sherman Lee, the fullback, number 12. Leonis Williams, number 32, is the tailback. Mike Miller, the tight end, 84. 80 is Reed. Green is 86. On defense for Leflore, names like Mike Alexander, also Jake Wilson, Jeremy Cunningham, Ricky Wright, James Pizant, Melvin Jones, Sherman Cooley, Paul Henderson, Corey Moore, Tremaine Dow, and Corey Colley. Leflore is coached by Rayford Parker, who beat Leflore a couple of years ago. Rayford once coached here for a few years, hired by Ben Harrison. Ironically, when Ben was a quarterback at Alabama State, Rayford Parker was the receivers coach up there, so their history goes back quite some ways. Blount coached by Ben Harris, 2 state titles in his 9th year now, 68 wins and only 13 losses. What more can you say about the job he's done, Rick?
That's impressive. Ben Harris is a leader of young men, and he's a molder of young men, and he's the kind of young man that you want your child to play for.
Blount wearing their traveling white. They are the visiting team today. Ball is at the 20-yard line. We're ready to go. Aaron James, his backup is Tyrone James. They are not related, and on the first play we get flags.
Well, I missed that, Lee. I don't know what happened there.
Well, somebody, either Leflore jumped off sides or somebody pulled him off, and the Rattlers a little over anxious here. You'd have to say the emotions are pretty high. They normally are if it's a Friday night game because it's such a tremendous rivalry, but I guess with so much put into today's game, you'd have to say they're a little anxious.
Well, Leflore is anxious and they're ready to play, and Rayford Parker is going to have his team ready to play. You can rest assured of that.
First and 5 for the Leopards at their 25. James, the quarterback.